Hey traders from around the world, how are you doing? This is Jerremy Alexander Newsome with Real Life Trading, and I hope you're doing fantastic. It is Friday the 13th, so just keep that in mind if you plan on doing anything crazy later today. So just checking out the market. Now this is while the market's open, so keep in mind that everything is subject to change due to volatility. But looking at Apple at the moment, Apple is still kind of continuing a little bit higher, and I like the fact that it's resting today. I also like the fact because I had a few students and some calls up here that are expiring. So Gabe, one of the new students to Real Life Trading, he is in a 128, 129 bear call. He got into that Iron Condor, actually. He has a bull put spread down here as well. Hopped into the bear call spread portion. And that should expire profitable today. Overall, unless something crazy goes on. Doug will be very, very close for his 126 covered call expiring this week. He might buy it back at some point today, or maybe just be happy getting exercise. But realistically, at this particular point in time on Apple, I had a protective put down here at 117.56. I moved that up to this gap at about 122.29. My expectations is that Apple really could hang out here and trade sideways for another 2 or 3 days. Let the moving averages catch up just a little bit more, and then ultimately probably continue a little bit higher. The hourly chart, we are trading down to the 10 exponential and getting a little bit of a bounce here. Again, really not surprised at all if we trade sideways and then end up continuing a little bit higher. And overall, ultimate target about 127.96 and then 133.50 is really a pretty strong, solid target before we get a little bit more of a retracement on the daily, something like that, where you could buy in again. But as far as my particular trade, I got into a 128 call, sold it because I own calls down here on the 115s, and that creates a debit spread, and that was expiring today actually. Got 17 cents on that, and that'll expire and go to options heaven unless something crazy happens today on Apple. Let a little bit of a sideways move go on, and then hopefully Apple will continue just a tad higher overall. Let's hop over to the general market. SPY looking cute. Got a bunch of white candles. Triggered our bullish intraday trigger on Wednesday at 207.42, and we've continued a little bit higher. If we do close today at the all-time high, I think there will be some people getting in bullish. Keep in mind that likely this could happen and then this could happen. Volume is a little low, so I'm still in suspect of the breakout, but at this particular point in time, other than that, I think this is kind of a nice little wave rotation. We'll probably get up into here. Some of the bulls will hop in at the very, very top. We'll get a little bit of a pullback, right? The weak bulls will get shaken out, and then we'll probably pop and continue a little bit higher. So I am bullish, have been bullish, still am bullish, and holding that position pretty nicely. The IWM, we did close above this resistance yesterday, and so I was mentioning to a few people, as far as the 122, 123, you're getting closer, much, much closer. And if you don't want to wait to close above these wicks right here before you exit that particular credit spread, I mentioned yesterday if we close above that resistance, probably the best point to do that is just to go ahead and exit. So I have exited the 122, 123 bear call spread that expires next week. Most of the indices look bullish. There's a little bit of bullish momentum coming in. So I exited that for a break even on IWM on the bear call spread. Still got the bull put spread down here, which expires next week, which will go to options heaven. The Qs, we had a bullish entry at 104.62. It closed above that particular price, and now we're continuing a little bit higher. Again, it looks like we're getting above some of this resistance level. We're getting kind of far away from the moving averages now. Volume is, again, a little light, so I'm expecting at some point something like this, and then probably a little bit of a continuation higher. But as of right now, probably through the rest, really probably until May, I'm going to be slightly bullish, and that's going to be my standpoint on the general market. Let's go look at a few other things that are interesting. Twitter, hopping over to Twitter. Twitter, you know, I'm keeping a very, very close eye on this. I am quite bullish on Twitter, but I would like a close above 48.59. If we don't do that today, then I'll probably raise the entry. This is an intraday trigger, and it's still very valid. So if you're getting triggered in intraday, that's beautiful. If we get a giant upper wick today, I will change this intraday trigger into a if we get a big wick, I'll change it into an intraday trigger if you guys haven't gotten triggered in Twitter. But protective put below the wick right here. on, I believe that's Tuesday's candle. Stop somewhere in the gap. Got a lot of put sales down here. Yoav and a few others are doing some put sales on Twitter. And this is a bullish 2 to 3 month swing trade. Very, very bullish gap. Great volume. You have a gap action over here. Gap action, double gap action. So 2 gaps, actually, to coincide with this support. So put sales in this general area are working out pretty decently. Moving averages are catching up a little bit and anticipating that Twitter goes a tad higher. Netflix moving higher today, which is delicious. Ultimate target 485.05. We got triggered in bullish about a week and a half ago or so at 447.21. So if you're in that particular trade, probably could take our protective put up to the break even point, and I think we could take our stop up to that wick and let this bounce off really, really nicely off the 10 and let it kind of continue to do its thing. Amazon as well, skyrocketing. Not a giant surprise overall. Playing this as a breakout, beautiful pennant the last few days. RSI is very high, so again, at some point, I'm expecting this part of the little wave that I drew in, some little bit more of this to go on at some point, and then ultimately 407.03. So if you're in that bullish trade, that one's working out really, really well. And I think it's actually time to take our protective put and go ahead and not quite break even yet, but let's go ahead and just put it at 364.38, and we'll take the stop and we'll move that up to 357.06 since we did make a higher high and a higher low today. So Amazon, if you're in bullish, good for you. Google's one of the 2 that we had a weekly bull put spread. We had a 525 right here, 525, 520. I'm sorry, 525, 522.50. Bull put spread expiring today. We got into that on weeklies Wednesday, and that is going to go to options heaven today unless something just radical happens on Google. But overall, been bullish on Google since about 531.87. A little break out of this pennant pattern, and it's continuing nicely. It really does, to me, look like an inverted head and shoulders pattern on Google right there. So yesterday we closed above that trigger, and today we're continuing higher. So it looks pretty overall. And FAS was the other weekly spread that's expiring today. We had a 117, 116 bull put spread. Our intraday trigger was 122.57 after this little pennant pattern was starting to form just 2 or 3 days ago because we did want to buy the bounce. So boom, boom, boom. And I think we're getting a little bit of a rest today, Friday the 13th, coming into the weekend. Market is closed on Monday. Keep that in mind. So there won't be any live day trading room on Monday for us, and there won't be any market open. So tomorrow will be a good day for the couples out there. Valentine's Day, Sunday, enjoy it. And Monday is a day off as well. So a long weekend for President's Day. Hopefully you guys have a lot of plans. I need to start creating a little bit more to make sure that this weekend goes smooth for everyone. But otherwise, ladies and gentlemen, I do appreciate watching this real life stock review. Hopefully I have a few cool treats coming up for you soon with another few videos I'm going to be creating for you guys. Of course, free of charge for you guys to watch and enrich and share to the world. Students, friends, traders from around the world, have a great weekend. I'll see you next week. And until then, remember, love life, live life, and trade it. See ya.